So now I'm beginning my final video for first-time visitors of Baku. This video will cover shopping, Heydar Aliyev International Airport, and Azerbaijan Airlines, or Azal, as it's called in Azerbaijan. So with regard to shopping options, kind of the two main shopping areas for tourists are the Old City and Fountains in the Fountain Square area. So the Old City, you can get all types of and Fountain Square area as well. Traditional Azerbaijani hats and clothes, uh, other types of tourist trinkets as well, and carpets also. That's kind of the main things to get there. Unfortunately, because I was sick my final day in full day in Baku, I couldn't really shop properly. So I couldn't really buy anything fortunately from Baku. Very very bad of me. Um, Other than boxes of baklava which I bought at the airport. Now I did with my friend's brother. I did want to buy a carpet, so we did go around trying to look for a very nice Azerbaijani carpet. But apparently in the old city, the sellers there were very expensive, according to my friend's brother. From the simple fact of the matter is that because a lot of tourists come from the Gulf states, so they were paying outrageous prices for carpets which were not very expensive, and hence the price got jacked up. So the carpet sellers expect you to pay for the inflated prices of their carpets. Um, that's probably not a best area to buy an Azerbaijani carpet from. Um, if you want to buy something, I'm assuming that the same thing will also be with the other tourist items you buy, like hats or traditional clothes, as well. Um, there are places to buy baklava in the old city. Once again, because of my illness, I only got a chance to buy it from the airport, obviously, which was much more expensive than probably if I bought it outside the airport. So if you want to buy baklava, buy it in the city. Unfortunately, once again, I didn't really get a chance to shop, so I don't know what are the good places to purchase baklava from. Um, Hopefully, in a future video on another visit to Baku, inshallah, I'll be able to make those recommendations. So a bit about Heydar Aliyev International Airport. Once again, it is about 25 to 30 minutes, I guess, kind of depending on traffic, away from outside of Baku. Once again, the Baku Metro does not go there, even though they have plans to extend it. But they do have a kind of 24-hour bus service from one of the metro stations. I think it's probably the closest metro station to the airport, I think, or from another one. I'm not exactly sure. Please check if you want to do that or not. You can take. By the way, the one thing I forgot to mention is that they do have, as in Istanbul and in other cities as well, they do have a special card you can use for buses and metro there called the Baku card. So if you plan to use public transport, the metro or public buses there, you can use the Baku card. Purchase the Baku card, rather. Once again, they have Uber in Baku, so you could take Uber back to the airport. Or if you're through your hotel, you could arrange transportation. I believe if you inform, like for instance, the Citrus Boutique Hotel where I stayed at, I'm pretty sure if I had asked them to arrange transportation for me back to the airport, they would have done so. Or if you want to do it through your tour guide, for instance, Parvati Tours de Baku through Fuad, the Haji Muhammad, he offered also transport back to the airport as well, if need be. So there are two terminals at Heydar Aliyev International Airport. There's Terminal 1, which is the newer terminal, which was built in 2014. And then there's the older Soviet style built terminal, which is Terminal 2, which is built, which opened in 1989. And it's been they kind of remodeled it to a way that it kind of matches Terminal 1. So Terminal 1, it's a three-level airport rather. Kind of very interesting design, very striking design airport. Mostly with a lot of glass and steel. It is the busiest airport in the Caucasus region, and kind of the hub for international travel to the Caucasus. Um, so when you go to the airport to Heydar Aliyev into Terminal One, level one is your check-in area, where you'll check in. Level two will be the area for kind of they have like restaurants there like McDonald's and kind of small restaurants like that, fast food restaurants. Then level three is your security check and uh, and gates as well. Immaculately clean airport. I was there. They were vacuuming the airport. Very interesting. Most of the floor was carpeted to a large extent, which was kind of interesting. Um, and they have a lot of high end international shopping once you clear security on level three. I did end up buying baklava from there. It was more expensive than probably I bought outside the airport, but I didn't have any choice, unfortunately. Um, so one thing to notice, the security check is very strict in uh, Baku and Heydar Aliyev International Airport. So strict, almost kind of bordering on Soviet-esque, I would say. First of all, they have these. I would say, as most airports, you have to scan you scan your shoes or boots, but they have kind of an interesting scanner where you put your shoe on it. I'm not sure how it scans it or not, but kind of if your shoe or boot passes, then you don't have to take your shoes off, and if it doesn't pass, then you have to put your shoes through the scanner. Um, so that was the case. I wear cowboy boots, so mine did not pass, so they had to go through the scanner. Um, the other thing uh, to mention uh, is that for whatever reason, at least my experience, they examined an American passport much more thoroughly than I have ever experienced, either in Pakistan or in Turkey. Um, Really kind of looking through it, going through it. It's like they had never seen an American passport before. Um, Kind of looking through it. I think the confusion they had is that because I traveled from Istanbul to Baku, they wanted to see if I exited from Istanbul and how I got back into the airport to fly to Baku. So they had to um, the passport officer had to call one of his supervisors over. The supervisor had to take a look at it, and he called me. They called me over, and they asked me certain questions like, "How did you get off in Istanbul?" I said, "No, I just transited through that." So once that happened, I was able to get through. The person at the scanning also was very strict, so strict that my luggage weigher hook, which got through TSA security in Washington, D.C. for my trip to Baku, could not go through security in Baku. It was taken out of my bag and confiscated and not returned, much to my annoyance. I was still not feeling well, so I couldn't really argue my way back, other than, well, it went through in Washington, D.C. in the United States. How come you aren't letting it through? Sorry, we're keeping it. You can't go on the airplane. So if you have a luggage hook or a luggage weigher, make sure it's in your suitcase. Don't have it in your carry-on. That kind of strictness that surprised me and kind of took me by surprise. But other than that, I liked Heydar Aliyev International Airport. It's very modern. Um, it's a very modern airport, very clean. Um, Very kind of the terminal is very compact, though it has 12, I think 12 boarding bridges, similar to Jinnah International Airport in Karachi, but much more modern looking, much more functional. It's a much newer terminal. It's only about 6 years old now, but very striking. So my final part is I want to do a quick review of Azerbaijan Airlines, or Azal. As I mentioned in my first video, Azerbaijan Airlines, it does have direct flights to the United States to New York JFK. It is the largest airline in the Caucasus region. Um, Flights to the main cities in Europe, um, flights to the Persian Gulf region. They have a flight to India, to Central Asia, to Turkey, um, to East Asia as well. So it's a nice, good mid-sized airline. They have all modern planes. Their shorter flight planes are all Airbus A320 family. Their long range, their wide body planes are all um, the 767 Airbus A340 500. I think they're one of the few airlines still left flying that airplane. And now they have the 787. They're ordered more 787s, I think, which will eventually replace excuse me, the 767 and the Airbus A340. Excuse me. Um, as well. Um, Now they also have a subsidiary airline called Buta Airways, which is more of a regional airline. So that does a lot of the regional flights to um, some of the closer in cities, to Iran, to some cities in Turkey. Um, they fly to Istanbul, Sabiha Gökçen. Uh, so a lot of kind of the regional, local cities, nearby bordering countries where it flies to. And as I mentioned earlier, there's been talk on Azerbaijan Airlines direct flight to Pakistan, with the increase of tourist traffic from Pakistan to Azerbaijan. Um, I think once this coronavirus finishes, that would be, I think that flight will probably, hopefully, it could commence and it'll be very, I think it will do very well. The service, I did fly on Azerbaijan Airlines. Now in Azerbaijan Airlines, it's called Azal for short. So when you talk about Azerbaijan Airlines, there's people that say, "Oh, you're flying on Azal." So that's the kind of an acronym, the local acronym. Um, so I did fly on Azal from Baku to Istanbul. It was an A319. I was kind of an older A319. It still had ashtrays in the seats. It didn't have individual viewing screens. Kind of a, yeah. I mean, it wasn't too old of a plane, but you could tell that it was kind of not particularly new as well. Um, but legroom was very good. The flight was very good. The crew was very nice. Was very efficient. Not very smiling, even though Azerbaijanis, I feel like they're very nice and friendly people. The service was efficient. They didn't really, cabin crew really didn't smile a lot, but they were efficient and courteous, and by and large polite. But they could have smiled some more, which would have made it a bit more friendlier. Um, the food service was very nice. Food was very good. They had type of a palau with chickpeas and lamb, which was very tasty. Uh, so the food service is very good. And overall, the ratings of Azal are from, if you go on Skytrax or as well, is relatively highly rated for an airline of that size. So if you do have a chance to fly, so I do recommend if Azal does fly to your city and the time is convenient, do fly on Azal. It's a very interesting experience. The one reason I flew on Azal, other than just for the sake of flying on Azal, is that the flight also was cheaper on the Istanbul to Baku route than Turkish Airlines by about 100 euros. So significantly cheaper also. So that is it for my videos for first-time visitors to Baku. Hopefully on future visits, I might add to this group of videos. My future videos will be kind of for visitors to New York and Washington D.C. and probably tips for travelers to Pakistan as well. So look forward to those videos as well in the very foreseeable future. So once again, thank you.